conditional sentences. So good morning to you all, and today we are going to start with the topic conditional sentences. Now conditional sentence, what do you mean by the word condition? Condition से क्या मतलब होता है? Condition का अर्थ क्या होता है? What does the word condition means? What does the word condition means? Yes, Satvik.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Condition on a particular type of situations. Ma'am, if I say that you have to do this work when only on one condition, when you will study properly 2 hours.
Okay.
Means if till you don't study 2 hours properly, I will not let you to do that work.
Very good. Satvik, very good. The example taken by you is excellent. Okay. So condition का मतलब basically Satvik wants to say that condition का मतलब होता है शर्त. When till you are not going to study for 2 hours, I am not going to let you watch TV. Right? That is what Satvik is saying. So condition basically holds that ये करने को देंगे अगर ये कर लिया होगा तो you will do this if you have done this. Okay, that is what the condition sentence is all about. So today we are going to start with the zero type conditional sentences. Now look at the zero type. ये वो sentences होते हैं जिसमें facts होते हैं. ठीक है? अब facts होते हैं. If you speak truth, everyone appreciates you. अगर आप सच बोलेंगे, सब लोग आपको पसंद करेंगे. हाँ, ये बात हमेशा सही नहीं होती कि अगर आपके फ्रेंड के बारे में मैडम ने कुछ पूछा तो आपने सच सच बता दिया तो फिर नेचुरली आपका फ्रेंड आपको अप्रिशिएट नहीं करेगा, राइट? लेकिन 99.9% दिस इज अ फैक्ट एंड फैक्ट्स आर जनरली ट्रू एंड दे आर said in the manner of the conditional sentences. If you speak truth, everyone is going to appreciate you. If you heat water above 100 degree, it boils. If you work 12 hours every day, you will get tired. Right? आपको क्या करना है? If का use करना है, present simple tense, present simple words का use करना है और ये present simple tense में ही बोले जाते हैं. अगर मैं इसकी जगह when लगा दूं, तो भी ये sentences conditional sentences में आएंगे. These are known as type 0 sentences. Now move on to the type 1 sentences. Possible condition and its likely result. Possible condition है मतलब if के साथ एक possible condition, ठीक है? Example देखिए, if it rains, possible condition है, बारिश हो सकती है और उसका likely result. अभी हम किस में बात कर रहे हैं कि अगर ये होगा तो मैं ऐसा करूंगा. This is what the type 1 conditional sentences is. If present simple tense में will, may, might और could का use होता है कॉमा के बाद. ठीक है? So possible condition, if it rains, example देखिए, if it rains I won't play football. अगर बारिश हुई मैं फुटबॉल नहीं खेलूंगा. If you study hard, you will pass the exam. अगर अच्छे से पढ़ाई करोगे, अच्छे से अध्ययन करोगे, अच्छे से स्टडीज करोगे, then you are definitely going to pass your exam. If it rains today, he will surely cancel the meeting. अगर बारिश हुई, वो मीटिंग कैंसिल कर देगा. Possible condition, ये हो सकता है, right? This is type 1 sentences. Okay, come to type 2 sentences. Hypothetical condition. What do you mean by the hypothetical? एक मन में ख्याली पुलाव पकड़ा है, ठीक है? ख्याली पुलाव में आपने एक कंडीशन सोची हुई है. अगर मैं हिमालय पे चढ़ जाऊं तो ये करूंगा, तो मैं इंडिया का झंडा लगा दूंगा वहां पर. हाइपोथेटिकल कंडीशन. अभी हुआ नहीं है लेकिन नहीं होगा ऐसा नहीं कह सकते. हो सकता है पर अभी हुआ नहीं है. इस बात का ध्यान रखना. हाइपोथेटिकल है कि अभी हुआ तो नहीं है लेकिन हो सकता है, बट नॉट इम्पॉसिबल टू हैपन. यू कैन डू इट इफ यू वांट टू, यू कैन. ठीक है? कैसे सेंटेंसेस होते हैं? इफ प्लस पास्ट सिंपल और वुड और कुड का यूज होता है। इफ यू वुड कैच द ट्रेन इफ यू लेफ्ट अर्लियर। आप ट्रेन पकड़ सकते हो अगर आप जल्दी घर छोड़ दो, आप जल्दी यहां से चले जाओ। वी वुड आंसर इफ वी कुड। हम आंसर देंगे अगर हमें आता होगा तो। हाइपोथेटिकल कंडीशंस हैं। हाइपोथेटिकल, अगर आते ही नहीं होगा तो आंसर कैसे देंगे? अगर यहां से जाओगे ही नहीं तो ट्रेन कैसे पकड़ोगे? ठीक है। इफ आई लिव्ड इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया आई वुड विजिट इस्कॉन टेम्पल। इफ आई लिव्ड इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया, अभी आप ऑस्ट्रेलिया में नहीं रह रहे, लेकिन क्या आप भविष्य में भी नहीं रहेंगे? ऐसा नहीं है, आप रह सकते हैं। देन आई वुड विजिट द इस्कॉन टेम्पल। और जब मैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया में रहूंगा तब मैं इस्कॉन टेम्पल में जाऊंगा, विजिट करूंगा। सो दीज आर द कंडीशनल सेंटेंसेस टाइप 2। कम ऑन टू द कंडीशनल सेंटेंसेस टाइप 3। हाइपोथेटिकल कंडीशन अगेन इमेजिनरी सिचुएशन है इन पास्ट दैट इज नॉट एट ऑल पॉसिबल टू हैपन। नाउ हम हाइपोथेटिकल कंडीशन की बात कर रहे हैं पास्ट में। पास्ट में जो गुजर चुका है, जो पॉसिबल नहीं है होना अब। इसके साथ हमें एक रिग्रेट देखने को मिलता है। अगर मैं ऐसा करता तो ऐसा हो जाता, अगर मैं बातें नहीं कर रहा होता तो मैडम मुझे थप्पड़ नहीं मारती या मुझे डांट नहीं मारती। तो हाइपोथेटिकल कंडीशन है, ठीक है। और इसके साथ रिग्रेट का शो होता है। इफ प्लस पास्ट परफेक्ट टेंस एंड वुड हैव कुड हैव का यूज देखने को मिलता है टाइप 3 कंडीशन में, ठीक है। आई एम रिपीटिंग दिस, हाइपोथेटिकल कंडीशन इन द पास्ट दैट इज नॉट एट ऑल पॉसिबल टू हैपन, ठीक है। हाइपोथेटिकल कंडीशन है, अभी भी हाइपोथेटिकल है, हो सकता था। अब ये तो था तो गुजर गया, ठीक है। तो जो गुजर गया वो अब तो नहीं हो सकता, ठीक है। तो उसमें लाइक इफ आई हैड स्टार्टेड अर्लियर आई वुड हैव कॉट द ट्रेन। अगर मैं जल्दी चलना शुरू कर देता तो मैं ट्रेन पकड़ सकता था। दिस इज रिग्रेट। ट्रेन अभी प्रेजेंट टेंस की बात कर रहे हैं तो छूट चुकी है और आप एक्सप्लेन कर रहे हो किसी को कि अगर मैं ये कर लेता तो ऐसा हो जाता। दिस इज कंडीशनल सेंटेंसेस टाइप 3। दे वुड हैव कम इफ दे हैड बीन इनवाइटेड। वो आ जाते अगर उनको इनवाइट किया जाता, ठीक है। सो देयर आर 3 टाइप्स ऑफ कंडीशनल सेंटेंसेस। जीरो टाइप, फैक्ट्स दैट आर जनरली ट्रू, इफ की जगह when भी लगा सकते हैं और प्रेजेंट सिंपल में होता है। टाइप 1 में पॉसिबल कंडीशन है और उसका रिजल्ट। इफ के साथ प्रेजेंट सिंपल विल, मे, माइट और कुड का यूज होगा। टाइप 2 में हाइपोथेटिकल कंडीशन बट नॉट इम्पॉसिबल। रिमेंबर देयर इज अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन 2 एंड 3। 3 में इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल, 2 में इट इज नॉट इम्पॉसिबल टू हैपन। इफ प्लस पास्ट सिंपल वुड कुड का यूज होता है। 3 में हाइपोथेटिकल कंडीशन बट इन पास्ट which brings you regret, if plus past perfect would have or could have का use, okay। So this was something about your conditional sentences, ठीक है। and we are going to now do the exercise part of your book. The conditional, the first conditional, then the second conditional, and then the third conditional, okay। So there we have done this already. Now straight away come to the exercises, okay। So here it has been given the match the following, okay। We are going to do this, okay। If I go to the market I will buy you a ring, okay। If they went shopping they would surely bring you a cake. If she comes on time we will go for the party in her car. If he doesn't come we will go on our own. If they are in town they will come to meet us, right? If I had realized that the traffic lights were red, I would have stopped. A part. If you found a burglar in your house, what would you do? M part. If he had slipped, he would have fallen 500 meters. If you had arrived 10 minutes early, you would have got a seat. If I had realized that he was ill, I would have helped him. If you see him, tell him to ring me up. If I tell you secret, will you promise not to tell it to anyone else? If you stand on the table, don't do it, but it will collapse. I will be hungry if he makes, sorry, I will be angry. I'm sorry. I will be angry if he makes any more mistakes. If you slept under a mosquito net, you wouldn't be bitten so often. If he had asked you, would you have accepted his proposal? If we had more rains, our crops would grow faster. If you hadn't sneezed, he wouldn't have known we were there. If you had shut the door properly, the hens wouldn't have got into the house. If she needs a radio, she can borrow mine. She can borrow mine. If you have your car serviced regularly, you wouldn't have so much of trouble. If Ajay had been richer, he would have bought a car. If you don't like this one, I will bring you another. If I lend you rupees 9,000, when will you return them to me? If you knew you had only 6 weeks to live, how would you spend those weeks? If I had a typewriter, I would type it myself. Okay, so these were your match the following. Okay, now you have to identify and write what kind of the conditional each sentence is. If I come, I will visit you. First type. If I had known you were coming, I would have waited for you. Third type. My mother would scold you if you hit me again. Second type. Lalit wouldn't have gone to the party if you had told him you weren't going. Third type. Sarita will buy a new dress if she is invited to Mary's wedding. First type. All right. If you behave properly, I will give you a piece of chocolate. First type. You would fall ill if you didn't get enough exercises. Second type. If I were bleeding, I would go straight to the nearby hospital. Second type. If I see a man unconscious, I would call an ambulance immediately. First type. If I had known she were here, I would have come here. Third type. I would go for a swim if I felt fine. Second type. I would go for a cycling if the weather were pleasant. Second type. They will get wet if it rains. First type. She would be pleased if you came. Second type. If it rains tomorrow, I will stay at home. First type. Okay, fill in the blanks using the correct form of words given in the bracket. Mary will go to the market if Susan agrees to accompany her. If I had known you were in hospital, I would have visited you. If you had arrived 10 minutes earlier, you would have got a seat. Mother will make cookies if I bring her some flour. My uncle would have been able to help us if he had been here. If you had spoken more slowly, he would have understood you. The cake wouldn't be burned if it were kept for a long time in the oven. If Maria were there, things would be different. If I had realized the traffic lights were red, I would have stopped. You did your homework, the teacher wouldn't be angry with you. If you did your homework, the teacher wouldn't be angry with you. Mother would have been happy if you had won the match. If he had known the entire thing, he would not have been so angry. If the weather is fine tomorrow, I shall play cricket. If they see me, they will call me. If I had had a typewriter, I would have typed it myself. If you had not eaten too much, you would not have fallen sick. If I knew his address, I would give it to you. If I got a new dress, I would show it to you. He would have been arrested if he had stolen the money. I will do it if I can. Now, complete the following sentences using the suitable type of conditional. You can complete it with the suitable conditional type of sentences. So the one clause is given, the main clause is given, and you have to write the subordinate clause. If I work hard, I will pass this exam. Main clause is this one, which is given in your workbook, and you are going to write the subordinate clause. The subordinate clause is subordinate sentences, the sentence which depends on the main sentence. So this is your main sentence and this is your subordinate sentence. If I met your friend Rajan on the street, I would invite him over my place. I will be rewarded if I win the match. If she practiced more, she would be better at playing violin. We would have sent for the doctor if we had known the girl's condition was that serious. I won't open the door if I don't hear the bell. Meera will pick up the phone if she hears the bell. Suraj will go to the party if he is invited. The clock wouldn't have run down if we had repaired it on time. Mamta will pass the test if she practices harder. If I have a headache, I will take some medicine. He would lend it to you if you asked him politely for it. I don't go to school to If I don't go to school today, I will not be able to appear for my exam. If I'm not taken in the football team, I will be really unhappy. If you tried to do this exercise without an expert help, you would injure yourself badly. If I hit a jackpot, I would be really happy. If you hadn't shaken the camera so much, the pictures would have came out amazingly well. If he takes my advice, he will be successful. Laila will be very happy if she wins the tennis match. He would have been drowned if you had not saved him. He will be late for the train if he keeps on talking to his friend. If he were in, he would meet you. If the storm became worse, the ship could sink. If I like the house, I will buy it. If he comes late, he will not get the dinner. Now, put the following sentences into the other two conditional type. The first condition type has been given to you and you have to put it into the another two types. Excuse me. I shall come and see you if I have the time. I would come and see you if I had time. And I would have come and seen you if I had time. If men were more reasonable, there would be no war. If men are reasonable, there will be no war. If men had been reasonable, there would have been no war. You will be ill if you drink that water. You would be ill if you drank that water. You would have been ill if you had drunk that water. I wouldn't have spoken to him if he hadn't spoken to me first. I would not spoke to him if he did not speak to me first. I won't speak to him if he doesn't speak to me first. I would get wet if it rained. I will get wet if it rains. I would have got wet if it rained. My mother would praise me if I did a good deed. My mother will praise me if I do a good job. My mother would have praised me if I had done a good deed or job, anything. You can use any of the word. You will catch the train if you take a taxi. You would catch the train if you took a taxi. You would have caught the train if you had taken a taxi. He would be sick if he ate all those bars of chocolate. He will be sick if he eats all those bars of chocolates. He would have been sick if he had eaten all those bars of chocolate. What would happen if there were an accident? What will happen if there is an accident? What would have happened if there had been an accident? Would you give the beggar a rupee if he asked for it? Will you give the beggar a rupee if he asked for it? Would you have given the beggar a rupee if he had asked for it? So this was your exercise about the conditional sentences. I'm now going to take up your doubts. Please raise your hand if you are having any.
Ma'am, when will its PDF come?